What's going on, guys? It's Swiftmaster1 with Swift Chat, and today we have a special one for you guys. This is a Weaver Beats video that we are going to be going over, and I'm sure we'll probably be going over a little bit of Weaver Beats. I'll try not to do too much of him, don't want to steal content from him. I'm not one of those people, but there are a couple of things that we need to discuss here, and oh, I just realized I love the Adventure Time logo that he has here. That's crazy. That being said, let me lock in here. I need people to understand why artists are not making money. I just need, like, this is what I need people to understand. Because a lot of people have this misconception about music artists that they're wealthy and they make all this money. And I mean, obviously, the girl that we're going to be addressing is obviously wealthy to some extent or to some degree, right? But here's the problem, right? This is the problem. The problem is music is being gatekept by Sony. Music is being gatekept by Universal Music, UMG, Universal Music Group. And it's just absolutely disgusting. Actually, I don't even know if we're gonna start this video off with Weaver Beats. Or no, you know what? Maybe I'll just make it a different video. Okay, I'll tell you guys what I was gonna do. What I was gonna do is I was gonna bring up the Rick Beato. Rick Beato is crazy. Why did I searched him up? I was supposed to go to his YouTube channel. Rick Beato. Okay, here we go. First link. Rick
At
Beato.
Wells Fargo, we get it. You started your business.
Stop it. No. Okay. Rick Beato. Oh, no, not this one. This one was crazy too. Maybe I gotta react to 2 Rick Beato videos because Rick Beato is fantastic, and you guys should absolutely go watch Rick Beato and support Rick Beato. But this record label is trying to silence me. I don't know if you guys see that over here, right? This is crazy. And it was who would have guessed? Universal Music Group. Wow. And so I guess I should have started with this video, really, because this video would have been the perfect precursor to this, what we're going to be talking about today, which is the Weaver Beats situation. Now, let's go ahead and click on the video.
Hello, nerds. Welcome back to
Okay. This girl right here, as you can see, I left my comments, I'm making my, I'm making my mark on the community here, but, this is what's ridiculous, right? We have this artist here who goes by I Am Kara Music. This is what she goes by. Here, let's see if we could pull up her channel.
Yes, the title of this video is true. It's not clickbait. It's not an exaggeration.
I mean, okay, so the question is, do I react to Weaver Beats or do I react to her video? Because, I mean, it's basically the same thing. Like, no, we'll react to Weaver Beats, and I'll just tell y'all to go subscribe and to go follow Kara and go stream her album. Please go stream her album on YouTube Music. We support artists. So, I guess I can give a bit of a synopsis here going into the video. Kara, this musician, she wanted to release her, I believe it was her debut album. She's done, like, work. She's done working. You know how it is. I'm the same way. Like, you know how you work on music for like a decade before you actually end up like doing things with your, like, creating an album or something, right? That's usually how that works. Is you have to learn how to do music, you have to get notoriety with the music industry, then you got to build the wealth and the funds to be able to release a project like this. And I guess we're gonna highlight Kara for a sec. We're gonna highlight Kara, for example, because her situation is just indicative of like the music industry as a whole, which is crazy. Does she have her album on here, or does she have it on a different channel? Oh, she has NCS collabs? What? Kara, oh my god. That's crazy. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Best Mac for music production, Apple CPU, SSD, and RAM. I actually have the MacBook too. I know y'all see that at the bottom of my screen. Y'all see that Logic Pro. Y'all see that. Come on now. Right, where was I going here? I invested $100,000 to create my album synopsis. So what ended up happening with Kara is she does what a lot of musicians end up doing, which is that if you want to be serious in the music industry, and especially as like and I will say that women in the music industry have it way worse in a sense than men do in the music industry. And it's criminal because they have so much natural talent just with their vocals alone. But she essentially had to when making her album, she had to procure the production, the masterings, right? Like she does a lot of the work herself. For I saw a comment of her saying she can do a lot of the work herself. She does a lot of the work herself. But she, in order to make something industry standard, you have to have professional masters. You have to have professional mixers. You have to have like what does Spotify call it? You have to have like the video shorts that go along with your music because it's more engaging with the audience. You have to have stuff like sample clearances. You have to have stuff like co-pays if you have other producers helping you work on your songs. Like if you do any collabs, especially if they're working with other signed labels, you have to do, I don't know, this, that, and the third. Like shooting music videos, you have to pay for hair, makeup, all of that. And all of that is coming out of the artist's pocket, right? And so even though she sunk $100,000 into her album and she had the $100,000 to sink into her album, I want to highlight this because this is just unacceptable. This is unacceptable. This entire situation is unacceptable. For somebody who puts and we'll get into it. I'm not going to spoil the video here, but we'll get into it. For somebody who sunk $100,000 into her music video, she got nothing out of it.
Yes, the title of this video is
nothing
true. It's not
out of it. Hello, can we go back to Weaver Beats, please?
All you do is click the button.
There we go.
Boom, it's going to generate a chord progression. Let's listen to some of these.
Ooh. That's fire.
Fire.
Hello nerds, welcome back to an episode of Weaver Reacts. Today we'll be reacting to Kara investing $100,000 to create an album and Spotify deleted it. Honestly, it's not that shocking. I mean, based on the title.
See, I love this because I love how this is why we're watching his reaction, right? He starts off the video with "and not surprising." That's crazy. Why is that not surprising? Why is this not in the least way surprising? I mean, I know why it's not surprising. These companies are the scummiest companies I have ever seen in my entire life. But this should be a shock to people. This should be outrage. There should be outrage over this. Like I feel like we gotta extend Clippy to this too, because this technically counts as big tech. Streaming platform.
Because I wouldn't say the same thing happened to me. I invested about like $0 and Spotify deleted.
But honestly, me and Weaver Beats are the same here, talking about we invested $0. I invested however much it cost to buy a DAW and an interface. Oh my god, sorry about my microphone. My microphone keep cutting out for some reason. It's quite ridiculous. Anyway.
Of mine too. Anyways, if you're wondering why we're doing a few reaction videos, I'm getting surgery on my knee. I got injured in a horrible skateboarding accident.
It wasn't really that bad. Beats,
anyways, I'm getting surgery
in a
accident. Just continue going back on to Spotify. It's just too convenient.
Every project required a team of writers and producers to
Okay, well,
Every project required a team of writers and producers to complete a song. And in retrospect, I wish I started learning music production sooner, simply because I could have taken things into my own hands and started my own personal journey as an artist.
This, right? This. I tell all of my friends that I try to teach how to make music and stuff because I'm a composer. In other words, I'm a snob and think I'm better than everybody else. No, but in all actuality, if you can write your own music and if you can make your own beats and if you can if you can write your own songs, right, from the ground up, you will be infinitely further ahead than all of these people, right? Because these people have to spend thousands of dollars getting producers, getting writers, getting sample clearances, getting this, that, and the third. And it's like, you don't have to do any of that. You can spend $200 to get a DAW, get a couple of synthesizers, and you're good to go. But a lot of people, they just generally don't know how to make their own music. And it's not the craziest thing. Especially if you're writing pop music, it's not the craziest thing. It's just not. Like, EDM is way crazier than pop, and so yes, I will be a snob and think I'm better than everybody else because I compose music. Going back to it, this is a real thing. And so a lot of people think that artists are just swimming in money, especially her. She talks about how she had 200,000 views on her album. 200,000, right? But and that's huge. And that's, you think I'm gonna release my project and it's gonna get like 2 views. Like, she got 200,000 views. That's like a huge accomplishment, right? But the problem is, she spent like $100,000. Oh my god. And it's like, how is she gonna recuperate that money when you make pennies on the dollar for streams? And God forbid she's signed to a label. She's not. She's going to explain the whole label situation. But God forbid she's signed to a label and has to give up, like, I don't know, 60% of that? 70% of that? 80% of that? Oh my God. Like, just because, like, they're riding in the company, the label Rolls Royce does not mean they got it like that. Right? And I'm specifically referring to rappers who are constantly flexing their money. Half of them are broke.
Christ. One thing you got to say about her, the grind is respectable. Okay, songs I've written for other artists, can't say I've done this. I don't know too many people that can say they've done this to this extent.
Between the money I was making from recording songs for DJs and selling vocal sample packs, I was finally able.
The work, by the way, the work that is done behind the scenes that nobody sees. Nobody knows who Kara is until she releases her debut album. All the work that she had to put in to become successful, to become who she is now, nobody sees that. Nobody sees the years that you spend grinding, the years that you spend climbing the ladder. Just for what? To get told that Spotify is going to delete your album?
Reinvesting in my own solo career after about 7 years of hard work in the music industry.
You thought I was kidding when I said 10 years. You thought I was kidding when I said 10 years.
My second single was a more serious ballad called.
Okay, if you guys want to hear her whole backstory and everything, you guys can go check that out. But we're gonna try to get on with it here.
While the producers themselves didn't bill me for their time because we were friends and frequent collaborators, we did have to negotiate 12 different agreements. Lawyer fees can range anywhere from $8,000.
See, this is stupid. This is so stupid. And I'm not saying she's stupid, but this whole thing is stupid. This is stupid. Why can't people just write their own contracts? What is going on here? Lawyer fees are and that's real. The lawyer fees are real. Anytime that you get into a dispute with a company or an entity or somebody else, for Christ's sake, you are paying exorbitant fees in lawyer fees. And it's like, why can't you just see? I don't understand this. You had to split the contract 12, and for people who are like, okay, so there's like a handful of you, but you have to split the contract 12 ways, and you guys are all friends. You guys are like, how does that make sense? Because this is business at the end of the day, right? This is not just you it's hard when your friends are your business partners, because you have to talk money and you have to talk friends. And the thing is, friends want to try to get over on each other, but you can't. You have to be fair. And so in order to be fair, you have to come to an agreement, and oftentimes a lawyer is the easiest way to do that, because a lawyer is an impartial third party who can come in and draft up an accurate legal contract that you guys both have to abide by. What I think is ridiculous and what I think is stupid is the fact that you can't just do that by yourself. You can't just come to an agreement between all of you, write it down on paper, say this is what we're going to do, these are how the splits are going to go, this is how this is who gets the master, this is what percentage of who gets the master, this is who gets the composition, this is who gets the cover, this is who gets, you know what I mean, like the different rights that are associated with when you create a song. I think this is ridiculous, but this is real. This is what people don't know.
to $12,000 for an entire album with multiple contributors. If you make your album entirely by yourself, this step would be way cheaper. Or
Bootylicious
Please tell me
Box
that's not the real
Publishing.
publishing name.
Bootylicious.
I think that might be the real publishing name.
next, we have to
As
get the
you
album
should.
mixed. In pop and rap music, top mixing engineers charge anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 per song. It makes no
I mean, I feel like her and Reed could have done it themselves. You know, I mean, I personally would have cut the corners here, you know, cut the costs. Maybe if you're struggling with the song, I mean, they do teach this kind of stuff, you know, like, I mean, but whatever. Not a huge deal.
Mixing is not hard, guys. Mixing is not difficult. Learn how to mix. There are certain aspects of mixing that you need to keep in mind. For example, you have to keep in mind frequency levels. You don't want your mix getting muddy, especially if you're like me and you have a track and you have like a song that has 30 synthesizers, or like at least at a given point in time, like 7 synthesizers will be playing at once. You got to make sure that your frequencies are not clashing your lows, middles, and highs. You also want to do stuff like microdynamics. You want to do stuff like crescendos. You want to do stuff like setting the volume levels. You want to do, you know, it's like compression stuff, like just general mixing, right? You also want to use plugins. Now, I highly recommend for those of you out there who are interested in doing this, I mean, get Logic. Logic is hands down right now the best DAW, unless you can get FL Studio. FL Studio is also acceptable, but I am a Logic user. Y'all saw the Logic Pro. I could bring it back up. Logic Pro, wherever that is, it's right over here. Mixing is not hard. Now, what is hard is, and Weaver Beats tends to agree too. Now, what is hard and what is difficult is this.
See, this makes more sense to me. This makes more sense to me, for sure. Because like
$300
you know, a mastering
$800
engineer,
per
like,
song, by the way, to have an engineer master your track.
if it's a good one, they know their shit. For
Brought to you by.
Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding? We'll be right back. And we're back. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong screen. Whoops.
all. Secondly, they usually have like a very well-tuned room, expensive monitors. Like you're basically paying for something that you are probably not going to be able to do as well yourself. Like I would be surprised if most people could like be as good as like a legitimate mastering engineer. And when I'm talking like legitimate mastering engineer, I'm talking like this cost up there.
100 to 8.
Now, he is absolutely correct. If you guys are independent music producers, you can master tracks yourself. You can, but heed his warning advice. He is a seasoned veteran. He's been doing this for way longer than I, and even I will have to say that mastering tracks you should leave to the professionals. Because here's the problem with masters, right? With mastering, you have to make sure nothing is peaking. Like legitimately, nothing can peak. And I can't stress that enough, because when you're mastering a track, it needs to be radio quality. It needs to be club quality. It needs to be commercial quality, right? It needs to be able to be put in advertisements. You want your song to go everywhere. It needs to be a certain standard. And it would just be ignorant to think that you can, make a song up to the proper standard of commercial music with zero knowledge in mastering, when there are a ton of things that there are a ton of parameters that you have to take into consideration. Number 1 being frequency, number 2 being volume, number 3 being decibel level, number 4, I guess decibel level and volume are the same thing, but you know what I mean by that. Like volume as in macro dynamics. I was talking about microdynamics before, but volume as in macro dynamics. Mastering such as polishing, compressing, limiting. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into mastering, and for somebody that knows what they're doing with a master track, they could take your song that sounds as good as it does, they can turn it from a good song to a freaking ridiculous song, to a what's the word I'm looking for? Why am I blanking out here? An industry standard masterpiece. That's the difference between a good and an average master. He is absolutely correct.
Dollars per song, but each song has an instrumental, an a cappella, clean version, and of course, the main version. So
So
and a
essentially,
fixed
she's over here breaking down how she spent $100,000 on her album. Next, she's gonna talk about the photo shoot.
number of final edits. Plus, before you get there, you have to pay for your makeup, hair,
Well, hold on. I
include
went
a
too
video
far.
canvas, because videos are naturally more engaging than photos. So that leads us to the cover photo, a professional photo shoot with a
So she's talking about the videos that you had to do she had to do for Spotify. Now she's talking about the cover photos.
photographer in an indoor studio in Los Angeles. Costs anywhere between $1,000 to $3,000.
Jesus.
And by the way, for a female pop star, because I'm talking about being a snob and everything with a classical composition or EDM composition or what have you, not like music theory or whatever. I'm talking about being a snob, right? This is something that she has to do. I don't have to do this. As an EDM composer, I do not have to do this. I just have to make my song and create some cool artwork with it, right? And that's something I can do straight from my bedroom. She has to go to a professional photo studio and get her pictures and get her videos done. She has to. Why? Because female pop icons are held to a completely different standard in the music industry than male pop icons. It's a fact. It is a fact. If she's not doing the most in terms of showmanship and in terms of creativity and in terms of rawness, nobody's going to take her seriously. And so Weaver Beats is going to mention a couple of times in the video like, oh, she didn't have to spend this much on the project, which is true. She really didn't have to spend this much on the project. She could have done the photos herself and just been creative, taken a little bit more time to, right? But this is something that's very standard for the industry. Like most like Taylor Swift would be doing this. Like Rihanna would be doing this if she still made music. Sabrina Carpenter is doing this, right? Like this is if she wants to be Sabrina Carpenter, she has to do all of this.
gets you a couple hours together to take pictures and a fixed number of final edits. Plus, before you get there, you have to pay for your makeup, hair.
So for me personally, hey, I'm not anywhere near this successful. Like, what was their monthly listeners, like 1 million or something? I got like 10,000. I think the highest I've ever had is like 50,000. I've done this the complete opposite route. I have completely like almost invested nothing into my music career. And, you know, there's definitely different ways to go about it. There's definitely a ceiling to doing it the way I've done it. But I mean, you can still make or like get an affordable like cover art, for instance. I haven't done any of this like photo shoot shit. But mixing and mastering, I mean, I could do pretty good mixing myself. Mastering, it's probably okay. It's not as good as the mastering.
That's real.
But you don't have to spend this kind of money. You know, you can still get pretty great results without spending all this money. Now, I'm not saying she's wrong for doing this. I'm just saying this is for like top of the line results, and it's gonna be difficult to recoup that. But her and Reed, they're definitely rich, so I could see why they would want to maybe do. It's like for me, it's just like, okay, like what am I gonna put myself in debt in order to do this? So you know, this is not the move for everyone. Can understand why they went this route.
And
Also, I'm going to double on that really quickly. I'm just going to say, if you're an EDM producer, if you're an EDM composer, this might, well, okay. There are two examples that I could see this being true for an EDM composer, right? Or an EDM producer. There are two scenarios where I see this, the case where you don't have to put in any effort into marketing in order to blow up, essentially. If we're going to be for real here, what she's doing is putting effort into marketing. What Weaver Beats is saying he did was maybe did the bare minimum, right? So comparing to her, he really didn't do that much, right? I would say that the ceiling, and I don't know what I think Weaver Beats makes like beats and stuff, but I'm not sure what genre exactly he makes. But for EDM composers and for EDM producers, there are two scenarios where I see that their potential is essentially limitless. Right? The first example where your growth is limitless, right, is if you're doing cinematic compositions. Like if you're doing Hans Zimmer type shit. If you're over here working, you got like 60 tracks, you're doing the most with it, you know, you got like 60 different synthesizers, you got like complex drum patterns, you're doing complex rhythms, you're doing basically the stuff that nobody else is doing. It's a matter of time before you blow up, right? The second scenario that I see where producers can kind of get away with this is house mixes. If you did if you had like an hour of, but that's usually for like live DJs, but if you had an hour of like house beats that you made or house beats that you mixed, live mixed, those are like pretty much the only two ways that I can see a producer really getting away with. And by getting away, I mean like having millions of listeners, like she does, millions of listeners or millions of followers, by essentially doing the bare minimum of nothing. For anybody else in any other genre, they're going to have to put effort and work into marketing their music, into showing up, into making good photo shoots, making good album covers. I mean, you have to make a good album cover anyway, but you know what I mean? Spending several $1,000s on a good album cover, right? Let's get on with the video. Let's see what else. So she talks more about that. Then she's going to talk about, okay, this is important. This is important. This is important.
Introducing Taco Bell's $3 steak burritos. From the zesty Chipotle ranch to the indulgent cheesy melt.
Queso would be dying. So, yo, I don't know why my my audio or my microphone here keeps cutting out. I'm gonna have so much stuff to edit in this in the video here. Oh my gosh. But this is the important part, right? Are we serious again? Okay. Well, this is the important part right here.
Content is locked and loaded in the chamber, and I'm ready to fire!
Not gonna lie, I didn't like that.
And all we need is a release date and a distributor. This entire time, I was actively trying to find a management team, a record label, or a reputable distributor to work with me on this release.
Yeah.
This is why I said I needed to do the Rick Beato video first, because this is the core of the issue with it. Like everything else that she did for her project aside, she was okay with doing, and she wanted to because she wanted to be successful by her own standard. And I support that, right? I think that that's admirable. I think that there's a level of quality with her craft that, you can admire. However, this is where everything fell apart, and I'm actually currently in the same situation. I used to have DistroKid when I first started testing out, releasing music. It was terrible. This was, several years ago, where we can just forget about that. But distributors right now are terrible. They're just awful. And there's no way that you can get around it. You have two options, essentially. Your first option is to go through UMG or to go through Sony. Those are basically the only two companies or whatever subsidiaries of UMG or Sony, right? Or your other option here is to go independently. And if you go independently, you have to go through a distributor like CD Baby, DistroKid. I had a list of all of them. You have to go through Symphony. You'd have to go through TuneCore or whatever it's called. You have to go through not Spotify. You'd have to go through SoundCloud. And the reason why you need to use a distributor, for all of those who don't know about the music industry, is because your music will not be permitted to be on Spotify, and you will not have content ID for music on YouTube. And I remember in 2017, I want to say, this was a big issue. You can see Logic bouncing up on my screen. Big issue, right? Was that people would upload their stuff to YouTube and it would just straight up get stolen because they didn't have content ID. You know who has access to content ID? Distributors. And so this is the biggest reason why you have to use a distributor. Now, what she's going to go ahead and explain is a literal horror story. And this has happened to people using DistroKid. This has happened to people using CD Baby. This has happened to people using TuneCore. This has happened to people using all of these, not all of them, right? But a good majority of these 100% splits, independent distributors, this has happened with.
Should not have picked DistroKid. You fucked up right there. That was mistake number one. And the first mistake you made was years and years ago. I've done a lot of videos talking about Spotify and DistroKid on my channel. And DistroKid is one of the shadiest distributors out there. TuneCore might be the only one more shady. And I mean, they've deleted my music. They deleted other people's music. They basically have a fucking playlist on their platform that they will add you to, or that's basically like malware. The DistroKid wheel of playlists, it's literally malware. You keep removing yourself from it or removing it from your Spotify, and they keep putting it back on there every week or two. Why? I don't fucking know. I don't know what's wrong with them. Long story short, DistroKid is just one of the shadiest distributors possible. It's really surprising to me that she worked with like DistroKid. I mean, to be fair, I don't think a lot of people knew how shady DistroKid was until like the past few years. But just because like of some of the things they've done recently, you know, like it seemed like a good deal originally before that, until you had to like deal with their customer support. I think that's when people like had to deal with their customer support, they realized like, oh, this shit's not as good as I thought it was. You know, like maybe you have to ask like to get a song removed. It's like, okay, whatever. You know, I'm only paying $20 a year or 20, 30, 25 or whatever it is now. It's like, okay, whatever. You know, the bad customer support, I could take that. But when you get into like the deep shit with them, you realize, oh, this is terrible. Like this is why it's $20 a year. You get what you pay for, essentially.
But no one really consistently expressed interest, and it was all just delaying the project from being released.
So what he said was 100% correct. 100% correct. And what's worse is when he said that the Wheel of Playlist or whatever was a scam and it was malware, this what he means by that is Spotify will take you off of their service, their webpage, their services if you use bots to boost your music, which is crazy because all of the mainstream artists use bots to boost their music. We're talking Drake, Lil Baby, Gunna, they all use bots to boost their music. Travis Scott came up and got famous because he was using bots to boost his music, right? So listen, it's just ridiculous because in both Weaver Beats case scenario and her scenario, I want to cut to the part where she's talking about this. And I think that this is the last thing that we're going to cover. If you guys want to watch the full video, go ahead and pull up the full video and give it a watch. And also, I would encourage you to go to her channel, hit that subscribe button, and go ahead and watch her full video and go stream her album, wherever her album is. I believe she said it was on YouTube. So go ahead and go stream her album. Go give her some support. Try to get her the funding that she deserves. She's an independent artist for the most part. So, I'll right over here. So go ahead and show her some support, show her some love. But anyway, we'll get into the real issue with this video. Are you kidding me?
Did work. It doesn't matter who bots your song, you're the one that gets punished. There's a fucking problem here, and they're never gonna fix it because it doesn't affect major labels. And you know, it's all about major labels at the end of the day.
I went too far.
Was about to come to a screeching halt. Just a few weeks ago, I opened my Spotify for Artists account and see something really good for once. There's a spike in streams on my song.
Dude, this same thing happened to me, and I wasn't even the one that fucking did it, dude.
It's crazy because as soon as he saw the spike, he instantly knew. He knew as soon as he saw the spike exactly where it was going. I mean, she said it was taken down, but you know, he knew.
Like, oh wow, there's a spike in my streams on a couple songs. I was like, I don't know what's going on with that. It's been a minute since I've released some music. That's weird. I was like, oh, this seems too good to be true. They're like, these numbers are coming in like ridiculously fast. And it turns out someone was botting my fucking music. Anyone could bot your music and then it'll just get fucking removed. Yeah, that's the way.
Hello? Oh my god. I don't know why my microphone legitimately keeps cutting out, but it's crazy just how he knew.
Why DistroKid work. It doesn't matter who bots your song, you're the one that gets punished. There's a fucking problem here, and they're never gonna fix it because it doesn't affect major labels. And you know, it's all about major labels at the end of the day. Sadly, it's not how it should be. It should be about the fucking art. It should be about integrity. You know, and people just shouldn't be able to do this. Like, it should just remove botted streams, and then like that way you're not rewarding a bad actor. On top of that, Spotify are bad actors. We've let the bad actors be the fucking leading force in the music industry. Realistically, it's doomed. The music industry and music in general is doomed until consumers can like stop using shit like Spotify. You know, until we can take it back to like physical releases or at least a platform that's not as corrupt, it's gonna be doomed.
Song work. I thought, wow, it's finally happening. A song on my album must be having a breakthrough with the algorithm. This is great. Well, it seemed great.
Nope, the algorithm is shit on Spotify. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. Actually, you know, it can happen.
Inbox.
Spotify has flagged artificial streaming on your tracks. Because of that, your releases containing these tracks were removed from their platform. This doesn't.
I just don't understand why they do this instead of just removing the botted streams. Because the fact that other people can bot someone's music that they don't like, that's a fucking problem, bro. Anyone can slide in here and fuck up someone else's music career, and that's not how it should be. It's music, right? If that was
You did anything wrong, these things can happen on Spotify without your knowledge.
they even fucking admit it right here. They're even admitting that it doesn't mean that you did anything wrong, but we're punishing you.
So the song that was just starting to get all those streams was actually flagged for artificial streams, like bots or AI or one of those weird things that scammers do. I wouldn't know because I never signed up for anything like that. Now, I know this sounds like a joke, but they weren't joking because
It doesn't sound like a joke, but the thing is like some
shouts on Instagram.
Sorry, I want
Song album.
So after having one of my infamous Kara crash outs on Instagram, I decided to make the permanent decision to never distribute or release a song for streaming ever again. I did not buy any artificial streams or send bots to my profile to run up my numbers, which begs the question, who did? Quite frankly, none of my haters are smart enough to launch a successful cyber attack of this magnitude.
Okay, well, I wouldn't say I'm a Kara hater, but come on, let's not just like automatically discount someone as being too to fucking pay for fucking botted streams. That is
okay. We've seen enough, right? We've seen enough. I kind of wanted to play out what more of her response here because I wanted you guys to get her. I want you guys to get what she was saying from her perspective. I wanted her to say that she had her music taken down because of the botting incident. And like if you wanna see more of Weaver Beats, I don't know why I froze him on this frame like this, but if you want to see more of like Weaver Beats, okay, here we go. That's slightly better, I guess. If you want to see more of Weaver Beats, go ahead and check out his channel. Feel free. Make sure you go hit that subscribe to Weaver Beats. Go ahead and show him some support. I believe he's at like 60,000 ish, 70,000. Go ahead and get him to 100,000 subscribers. But and also if you want to see some more of Kiara, make sure or Kara, excuse me. I said Kiara. If you want to see more of Kiara, oh my god, I did it for a second time. If you want to see more of Kara, go ahead and give her a subscribe. Go ahead and support her. Go ahead and support her music because this is serious. Now I wanted to like kind of let that whole point play out before I responded to it, but I personally believe that Spotify should not be taking down people who bought views. I personally don't. I get it because it's like it's fake money, right? Like money is actually being made here, and I guess you could say it's fraud. However, the fact that you're not even the one who bought it and it can still get taken down is heinous. I think that should never have been a thing that's allowed. I think that never should be a thing that can even happen. Why are you going to be, and he said it pretty plain and clear, why are you going to be punished for what somebody else did? It just does not make any sense, right? How does that work? Explain that, right? And this is the issue, is what he said plain and clear, that this does not affect the major labels. This only affects independent artists. Well, what does that mean? It means that the major labels have a monopoly on the music production market. And it's just crazy to me how nobody's arguing against this, nobody's fighting against this. People just accept the situation for what it is. Now, I'm not necessarily blaming her or anything like individually, right? I'm just saying that like more people should be outraged about this. If you want to know why the quality of music is so bad in America, the main reason why is because artists don't own their music. The main reason why is because of people like her, right? People who spend $100,000 on their album and don't see a single cent from it. Why would you want to spend $100,000 on an album just to not see a single? I think she made like $2,000 from her album. You know what I would have done? I would have made an album with $0, and I would have just collected my $2,000. Call that a surplus here. Call that we in the green, right? We making profit. But that's ridiculous. And again, like, I'm sure if you listen to her music, you go listen to her music, it is phenomenal, right? Phenomenal. We're not talking about some like booty startup project here. Like, she put time, effort, money, and dedication into this, and she's getting nothing out of it because, I don't know, Spotify just decided, oh, well, we're not going to have your music. It's not going to happen. Can't do that. We can't have music on this platform. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Anyway, that's just mainly, like, I just wanted to highlight this because I feel like this is a serious issue that needs to be talked about within the community. We need to be talking about why is it so difficult for artists to maintain the rights to their own work. Like Taylor Swift, for example, was just in a vicious battle with her label trying to get the rights to all of her music because she made music and she wasn't even getting the profits of it. That's why she has, if you go on Spotify, she has the Taylor's version, right? This is an issue, and this needs to be talked about. Now, I'm about to record the precursor to this video, and the precursor to this video is going to be the Rick Beato reaction, and it's going to be me talking about the actual label now as a whole, because the labels are such an issue. The issue is the labels. If these major labels were not as toxic, if these major labels weren't as bad, nobody would have a problem getting signed up to a major label. And I bet you that the major labels would be making way more money. But this is the problem. They take most of your cuts. They sign you into these, they lock you into these awful deals, and you have no incentive to do hard work. All you want to do is meet your quota, push the albums out that you need to push out, right? It's ruining the quality of music. Anyway, this has been Swift Chat. I am Swiftmaster1. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all of my latest uploads. This is going to be my main second channel. I don't know if I talked about it very much, but it's mostly going to be like a reaction channel, or like I'll just be talking, like, but that's still technically reacting. So I'll be reacting to mainly like pop culture issues. Maybe I might do a little politics, but this will definitely be the channel where I start doing the political spicy takes, where I get canceled every which way from Sunday, right? That's basically this channel. Anyway, without further ado, stay frosty, stay sweet. Swiftmaster1 out.